Sir, we're approaching a podcast. It's part of the Legion Academy collective called Dice Time.
That's it. Bob Swaim and Ben Jetron are there.
My lord, there are several Star Wars Legion podcasts. It could be any number.
That is the one. Admiral, set your course for Dice Time.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dice Time. I'm Ben Jetron.
And I'm Bob Swaim, coming to you from an undisclosed location in Alexandria, Indiana. How's it going?
Yeah, we are. It is good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing very well today. It's been a good day. Happy day. Raining here like crazy, but we're good. We're able to talk to each other and talk to the world.
Yeah, we were both very, very blown away and very happy with the feedback coming from the first couple episodes that we put out. I'm extremely grateful that we have such an awesome community, Bob.
Thank you, community. We love you.
Yes.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much. Everyone that I had heard back from had mostly just pretty much all positive things to say, and we're just like, this was awesome. Can't wait for more. But today's episode is the Art of War. We're going to be talking a lot about art and hobby stuff. So if you're a 100% competitive player, today's not your episode. Sorry.
We will get to you though.
We will get to you. I mean, we had like battle reports and stuff in the last episode. I can't speak for how competitive I am as a player, but like I said in the intro, or I think I said this in the first episode though, Bob, you and I are painters and players in that order.
Yeah, we're there to have a good time and show you what we painted and get those attaboys, because that's what we do.
So a couple things I did want to mention before we dive into our topics here is the battle reports and stuff is not going to be a weekly thing like that, or an episodic thing. Like, we're not going to do it every single episode. It was a matter of, like, the last episode was about an event that I went to, and I will be doing battle reports for events that I go to, because I had an experience at a little place called Gen Con. I'm sure you know of it, Bob.
I've heard of it once or twice. It should be. We should be getting ready to go right now, actually.
Don't remind me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It sucks.
But last year, we had a certain podcaster, a Joe DePinto of the Legion Academy, was breaking down his matches that he had at Gen Con. And a certain host by the name of Ben, that's me, had a match with Joe at Gen Con. So he broke down the match that we had, and I lost. Big spoiler. I did not do well at that Gen Con. I lost, but I got to hear Joe's breakdown of that battle and of that match. And that was like a sport, like that was like a football player going back and like watching old tapes. Like, that was super helpful for me. I learned a lot just by listening to someone else tell me their mindset playing the game. Like, oh, I was waiting for this, or oh, I thought this was going to happen, or he did this and I was thinking about this. That was immensely helpful. So I want to give battle reports for events and stuff that I go to. I'm not going to do it for like casual play all the time, because I think that's just going to bog down. I'll have battle reports and stuff on the YouTube channel, which, by the way, the
YouTube channel. Dun, dun, dun.
I was going to say, by the way, this is probably going to be the first episode that's not going to be on the Dice Time YouTube channel, and it's just going to be on Legion Academy, because I'm moving Dice Time's Legion content over to Legion Academy's YouTube channel.
Thank you, Legion Academy.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, parent.
Thank you.
Mom and Dad, Sean and Joe.
I
don't know which one's mom and which one's dad, but
those dudes.
We'll figure that out. Anyway, that was immensely helpful for me, so I want to be able to do that for other players while they're at events, and for those games that they do at events, to be able to, in a sense, go back and relive those games so that they had something to work with to better themselves, because that definitely worked for me.
It's very nice to get another person's point of view of how you played and what you did, and maybe what you could have done a little bit better, or what you did perfectly. It helps you plan for your strategy,
right,
and all that good stuff, and you get a different point of view from them because you're looking at it from I've ran this 65 times. They might see something that you've missed because you're so comfortable with it that you don't take chances, or you take too many chances with it. So I can see where that's a good thing to have somebody do for you.
Yeah, I was just able to play that back a few times and be like, what should I have done in this spot or this spot? But yeah, anyway, enough about that. The other thing was the Legion content from Dice Time moving over to Legion Academy. It didn't seem totally right to just be posting it in both places, so we're just going to move it to Legion Academy and kind of get everything under one roof so that you have one place that you can go to find everything. There's still going to be stuff on the Dice Time channel, so don't unsubscribe just yet. There's going to be like 40K, some other stuff we have planned. There's the Fallout, Wasteland Warfare, and maybe some RPGs if we get around to actually recording some sessions of some stuff that we're going to still use Dice Time. So I mean, if it doesn't hurt to let the dust collect on that subscription, unless it'll just drive you insane. So feel free. One last thing, unless Bob, you had anything to mention as well.
No, I think you're covering it pretty good. I think.
Okay. Well, one last thing I wanted to mention was we already got a shout from some very nice people that I'm sure everyone's heard of, which is Warcorgi and Keith over at Jedi Hunter and their podcast. I was listening to episode, I think it's 27, which again, as of time of recording, was the last one that they've put out. And they were talking about Dice Time and Ladies Night, the Ladies Night episode that we put out. And Warcorgi was talking about listening to that and how he enjoyed. Both of them had listened to it, obviously. And they were both talking about it, and it was very flattering. They were talking about whether you should play lists for winning or for fun. I'm not going to get too much into it because it's, it was their conversation, not ours. But my bottom line is play lists that are fun. And if you want to hear more about that, check out Jedi Hunter. It's pretty great. They wanted to have a conversation with us. And so we're talking about maybe going on there and checking and having that conversation with them about tournaments and stuff like that. So that'll be one to look forward to if we can make that work. I was just flattered, Bob, that they were already wanting to talk to us when we're practically just starting out. That was like our first episode we put out, and we were already like, "Hey, you guys want to talk?" And I was like, "Wow, that's pretty great."
It's pretty cool to hear your name mentioned on a podcast.
Especially
cool.
when you're just starting out.
Yeah, we're shinies.
We're shinies still. All right, Bob. Shall we hop into today's actual segment now that we're almost 10 minutes in?
Yeah. Let's talk about some paint tips for clones. God knows I love the clones. The clones are awesome. There's so many ways to paint them, though. So
today we're going to be talking about painting clones. That's where we're going to start. And then I'd like to get into kit bashing, and I'll get into more about that. And then we have a segment of talking about our favorite card art. Right, Bob's mostly going to lead that segment because Bob's been analyzing. Bob's an artist. He's been analyzing all the cards, and he's got a lot of favorites, and we'll talk about them in a minute.
There might be a couple surprises in there that you don't see. We'll talk about that when we're done doing some painting.
Ooh, surprises. He hasn't even told me about those, so now I'm looking forward to it too. But let's start with clones. So the number one army I hear questioned on the Legion page of what to paint, how to paint, is clones. I've seen nobody really asks, how do I paint my rebels? Everyone just kind of knows. Stormtroopers, I occasionally hear, how do I paint these white armor troopers? Droids, I'm like, mostly everyone's painting them canon, but people that aren't painting them canon seem to know like what they want to do. But I hear so many people asking, how do I paint clones? Both actually, how do I paint them? Like physically, what do I do? And then also markings and colors and like how should I paint them up? So Bob and I have both painted clones. And
lots of clones.
Lots of clones. I'm looking at them right now, actually. And we've got a lot of... and I think we differ in technique. So I was just going to briefly break down how I do them. And then Bob will go into how he does them. And we will see if maybe that helps any listeners out that are looking to know how to paint clones. So basically, I have a short, very simple way how I go about it. And I'm just like looking at them right now while we're talking about them. But I basically start with a the GW Corax white primer that came out with the contrast paints, their new white primer, because I really love how that looks. I've seen people using, and I actually have one that a friend painted for me, a clone that was primed with like not a Minis brand white, like a generic white primer from Walmart, and
Ew.
it is bright white. It is too white in my opinion. Whereas the Corax white is like this soft white, and it looks really nice to me. It's not a stark like shining in your face white, and you'll know what I mean. It's too white, but like the Corax white looks really it looks white, but it's soft white. Anyway, so I start with that. I prime the whole figure in white, in the Corax white, and then I go and I take either Abaddon black. I use Citadel paints. I don't know. Bob will probably mention whatever he uses, but I use Citadel because we started as a 40k household, so we just already had the Games Workshop paint, so I just stuck with them. I either use the Abaddon black or the new contrast black Templar. So I'll go through with the black, and you could use any black. There's a million different paint brands, and I go through and I paint the bits that are black. So the arms, in between the arms, the legs, the undersuit, basically, and then the visor. And I see a lot of people forgetting the black brow above the visor and just leaving that white. Big note, you should paint that black. It looks a lot better. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, hey, what do you do about the feet? Do you paint that black around the seams of the legs or the feet where the armor touches the foot, or do you leave it, a different color?
Actually, I've been leaving it white because I think it might be... I've been painting black around the knees, around the knee pads, but I haven't been doing them by the feet. And one of the reasons is my custom unit that I've been painting have different colored feet. So I think I've just been leaving them... so they have a color. Mine custom unit is purple, so they have purple feet. Instead of anything like that. But on the I did a squad of shinies and I left them white as well. But this will go into my next step. What I do after the black is I'll go through with white, and I think I've interchanged these two steps, the black and this, but I'll take the contrast white, the contrast apothecary white, and I'll go touch the shadowed bits of the clone armor. So like the recesses of like the two little dashes on the right chest piece, where armor creases with itself. So like the indents here and there, the two cheek parts on the helmet, the bits on the back. It's like I'll touch contrast white on the edges of wherever armor touches armor, and that helps make a really nice look. I'll put white in the cheek parts, in the back of the helmet, anywhere where armor touches armor. I will put the white, the apothecary white contrast paint, and it looks really nice. So I don't even paint white on the trooper. I paint the contrast over the primer, over the Corax white primer, and that gives it a really clean look. Now, if you're not a fan of that process, don't do it, but I'll post I've posted pictures of my clones before, and I'm actually going to have a post that's going to go up with this episode. I'm going to post on the Facebook page along with this episode, more for the next segment. But there are some of my clones in that, so there will be proof of that process to show you. So in between all these steps, and then again, I will do cleanup. I'll take the Corax white paint, I'll take black, and I'll clean up wherever I need to. Then I will take the Corax black and I'll just do that for the gun. And I'll clean up where I need to there. And finally, I will do my favorite step, which is taking the color, whatever color you want to use for your clones, whatever markings you want to do. For me, I use purple. I believe it's Genestealer purple is the one I use for my clones. And on the Citadel paint side. And just mark them up. Color pauldrons, color visors, color fins, boots, whatever. Do awesome stuff. If you have decals, do them too. And then I'll go through one last time and do cleanup wherever I got too much color in a spot, or if I didn't get it line straight or something, I'll go back and do it again. And that's basically it. That's all I really do for clones. It's a very simple, straightforward process, and I really like it. And it turns out really clean for me. People say it looks nice, and I've seen a lot nicer, but I'm pretty satisfied with how mine look. So, Bob, why don't you walk us through your process here and tell me how you do your clones, because your clones also look really nice.
Well, thank you. Yours are
really
awesome.
like
I love seeing them online. They're cool. It's cool to see them on the board and watch them crush stuff. So that's cool. My thing is I use Army Painter. I kind of fell in love with that. I got a big box of Army Painter when I started painting, and I love it. Dustin Harvey, who is a renowned painter, he's really super good. And a buddy, hey Dustin, shout out to you, buddy. He uses it and he gets really good results. So I was like, okay, I must be doing something right if he's using it, because he paints really nicely done. For primer, I did some priming one time and it came out really globby, and we'll discuss that here in a second. It was just nasty looking. Got called out on the internet, which really bugged me because I take a lot of pride in my work. I was using Army Painter primer, white. Any other primers are great, but the white, if you don't watch the humidity is your worst friend. It'll bubble you up every time, and it'll leave it chalky and nasty looking. All their other colors to me work out fine, so I'll prime with whatever base color I'm going to use for the entire model. But these guys, I went down to a hobby store, and they had a thing called Tamiya Primer. Fine surface paint. They have it in white and they have it in gray at this particular store. So I grabbed a can of each, brought it home, hit my models with it, and it turned out wonderful. And that ended up being the base coat and the white coat for all my clones. I hit it with that, let it dry, maybe hit it again just to make sure that it's on there. I like my clones a little bit whiter, but not super clean. Right. I'll go over it with some wash to get it going. But Ben pretty much hit on those. Go in there and hit the blacks in between the arms and then around the neck. I did for a while. I would do around the feet, but then I did some actual work and took a look at online. And there's generally not very many pictures where you can actually see the black around their feet. So I stopped doing that. I also use Apothecary white, which to me always comes out a little bit gray. To do a lot of shadowing, the folds in the armor.
Let me ask real quick. Do you just coat the armor in Apothecary white and let it run into the recesses?
No, I use a very, very, very thin brush. It's got maybe six or eight hairs, and I like the detail of the lines.
Okay, so you and I do them the same way with the
we do the lines
the same way. Okay.
Yeah, I if you're using like Nuln Oil on a big piece, or if you're doing terrain or something, you got a chunk of wood. I slap Nuln Oil on it or whatever kind of coat that I can there. You can just wipe it right on there and then wipe it off the top, and you're good to go. The clones, I wanted them to be a little bit more refined. I mean, they all look the same, so I try to get the same effect.
I tested just globbing it on one, not on a clone. I think I might have done it on a trooper or something like that. I did it on something, and I was just like, that isn't exactly how I wanted that to look, and I just kind of wiped it and tried again, and I just did the detail ones, and I think that's a lot better.
Yeah, it works out nice because it lets you be in control where the lines are, and when you look at a miniature, especially the clones, you can turn them around, and that's you get little pieces of it. Okay, that's the way that was meant to be looked at, so you can kind of play to that, and then you still got to play to the all-around feature. I'm what's known basically as a table painter. I paint mine to table quality, especially on just packs of clones. Because they all look the same. They're quick. They're like stormtroopers. You want to paint them and be done with it because you get sick of it. On my leaders like Rex, we'll get into Rex in a minute. He looks really good because I've taken my time. I've done a little bit more detailing. I make sure his lines are exactly perfect. If you paint 6 units of clones and you're like, man, I don't want to paint clones anymore. I feel for you Empire players. I never really got them saying, oh man, it sucks to paint these guys. Well, yeah, it can, but this is the cool part about clones. They got all the different colors, the different squads, the different commands. One more thing about painting your clones to start with here before I get into the details of the colorations. The best thing I can tell you is take a picture of your clones. When you get them to the point of where you're getting ready to put the colors on them and you don't want to have to go back over them and redo all the whites and all the blacks and all that good stuff, take a picture. That picture is going to show you spottiness and cloudiness and just every little detail that you miss, places in the paint that you can't see with your naked eye, that camera's going to pick it up. It's just like when they say models, it adds pounds to them. This adds and shows you where your model is lacking. That's the best tip I can give you. Like I said, I put some stuff out. It wasn't my best work, and I got called on it because people know I can paint. And they're like, what did you do with this? Why did you put that online? Because it doesn't look like your normal stuff. I started taking pictures after that of everything, and it's helped me out a lot. On to colors. I love the Clone Wars. I think it's awesome. I love all the clones in the movies. I don't like the bright paint. They're supposed to be a military force, not in a parade or something like that. When you see like Cody, his paint is so bright, that orange, to me, at least on the way I see it, it's bright. I take my clones when I paint them, and I've got an orange set, I've got a red set, I've got 501 is my favorite because Rex is my favorite. Mm-hmm. But I take my paint, and where Rex in the cartoon, his armor's more of a kind of a brighter blue. I tone mine down. All my stuff's been out in the field for ages, and it's got scarred up, it's got dirty. The paint's mocked off of it, and I just don't like the bright colors. So my Rex, I went with probably a shade darker than I should have. But it's mine. That's the way I wanted to do it. My Orange Armies, I took some of the special units that they got, and I made a commander with the skirt on it, and he is just so much brighter than the other ones. I've got to go back in and tone him down because he is like neon orange, and my other guys are regular orange that doesn't shine in the light. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can tell you. What you've got to do with these is you make them your own. You can go through, there's a million books out there with all kinds of references for all types of clones, different divisions and core units and stuff like that. But here's the thing, they're clones. They're your clones. We didn't see every set of clones. There was hundreds of thousands of those groups out there. So, what you do is you take and you look at colors, and, like Ben's got purple ones out there. Now, Mace Windu used purple clones, but nothing like Ben's. He had a very distinctive color. It was matched off his lightsaber that they all got their paint done by. But you can go with any color you want. If you want to make pink clone troopers, make pink clone troopers. It does not have to be canon. Don't be afraid to go wild with them. Just have a good time. And when you put them out on the board, people's going to go, oh, wow, that's really cool. You changed them out so you can tell them apart really easy. Or that's a unique color. Then just go from there.
That is one of my favorite things to do with that's also a big, huge recommendation I'll do too. Now, obviously, if the 501st or the 212th, they all seem, those are your favorite, go on, do them. Or the Ahsoka unit of the 501st, that sister company. Like, you go do that. But don't underestimate the ability to come up with your own awesome, cool unit, because that's what I loved in Warhammer and I love about clones is there's a million different companies that you never saw, and making your own custom stuff is the coolest experience for me as a painter.
That's what I like about, because I like I say, I draw. I like to be creative. So I the first clones I did, they were 501s. That was a given because that's my favorite company. Rex is part of it. That's what the show bases on. I've done all the different clone insignias and stuff on their armors because they were all unique. And my shiny unit. You have to have a shiny unit. Just make a unit that's white and put it out there, because you have to have shinies, and you blame all your problems in your game on those shinies because they're new.
Yeah, that naked clone squad you end up running.
Yeah,
those are your shinies. You run
shinies
just so you can blame someone after the game.
Exactly. Well, you watched them in that episode. They messed up everything until the very end when they got their paint. So there you go.
So
you know what else we forgot? Your model is never done until you base it. So that's another place you can get really creative, basing your models, because unless you go and buy the premium sets, which are already pretty much based, you still got to paint them and stuff, though. There's so many different unique ways. The Felucia things are driving me crazy out online. There's so many of them, and they're so colorful, and they're pretty. But you don't have to do that. I know you, Ben, you like to do water and sand like I do. So a lot of the
on my clones, I like to do Geonosis.
Yeah,
so I use a Grelin, or not a Grelin, Martian Iron Earth from GW's paints. Another thing about painting stuff that's your own and making it your own, I love seeing people that paint wild stuff that doesn't even fit canonically, and stuff that's its own unit or its own thing, whether it be something goofy like that doesn't even fit, like a leopard print Vader or something like that, or something like off the walls. Like I love to see that stuff.
You remember the pink Vaders? The pink Vaders.
Yeah,
were
and the
really
pink
cool.
Vaders. Like I love stuff like that. I always applaud people who go wild with their paint jobs, or even if it's something like more real, like that could fit in the lore better. Even if it's something like that, but it's still like a completely different color scheme. My girlfriend Trista, for example, she has painted a couple of my models, and she has really enjoyed it. She painted the Gideon Argus model, and he, instead of wearing tan, he has them all up in purple and gold trim, and he looks dashing. She also painted one of the Fleet Trooper captains that we're gonna paint the entire Fleet Trooper unit to match at some point, but she had, instead of like all tan, she has them in like a blue shirt and a green jacket with like the shoulder bits being like pink, and it looks crazy, and there's so many cool colors going on, and instead of the white helmet, it's all like woodland camo, and it looks really neat, and I really love those kind of paint jobs. And I said it looks like these Fleet Troopers were from Felucia. Like they look like they're wearing Felucia camo. So I'm gonna paint another unit of Fleet Troopers up, probably in a scheme that matches them, because I love those kind of models. And she's also got, she's working on these right now, so they're not done yet. So sadly I can't post a photo of them yet, but I would love to as soon as they're done. My one box of Tauntauns that, I refused to open because they got too meta too fast. And I went, nope, I'm just not going to play them, I guess, because they're just all the meta. I'd feel comfortable playing them now, because they're not like the hottest craze. People know how to stop them now. So if
now that they got neutered.
Yeah, now that they got neutered. Not so hard that they're not good. They're still very good. But they're at least not like the auto-include must-have list that they were. So I can safely bring them out of my box now. But I had no real plans for them, other than making them canon, which I will do with another box at some point. But Trista was like, could I paint those? And I was like, please, I would love to see what you do with these. So Trista's a horror fanatic. She loves all the scary movies and all that sort of stuff. And she's painting my Tauntauns black. One of them is going to be styled after like Krampus, and he's going to have like these red eyes and and like blood on the horns and stuff, and they look real spooky. And then the other one is modeled after a black goat from one of the horror movies. I think it was like the Witch, the Vitch, something like that. It was Black Phillip. It's like this black goat that has these yellow eyes. It's like real creepy looking. And so like my and there's gonna be like blood in the snow. Like these Tauntauns are gonna be horrifying, but they're gonna be so cool, and they're gonna be unique, and that's what's special about them.
That sounds like a cool idea. I can't wait to see those. You're going to have to bring those next time you guys come up to Muncie to play.
Yep.
But,
so, Bob, I think going into making stuff your own is a good transition into our next segment here, which is I want to talk about kit bashing.
Kit bashing is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really love it. So, first things first, for those of you that haven't heard the term, what is kit bashing? So when I say kit bashing and when I say conversion, I feel like these are two different terms. So for me, conversion is kind of like this blanket term that covers transforming a model into a different model by means of maybe green stuff or cutting, regluing, or kit bashing. So that's like in my head what a conversion is. And then a kit bash is a specific kind of conversion in that context, by using bits from different models or entirely different things to make a new model. So I've seen it done all the time in 40K, and that's where I first did it, was in 40K. I was making an army out of just random bits that we had left over. I was just splicing them together and basically making like chaos spawn that were just like these mutated, like I've got the body of a space marine and the arms of an orc and the head of a Tau, or like something crazy like that. And I was just making like chaos spawn out of that, and kind of making them my own chaos army that I had my headcanon for. But I've seen it in but I've loved been doing it in Legion. It's so much fun, and there's so much you can do with it. Even then, and they're really helping with the new models to give you the ability to do conversions and kit bashes and stuff, I feel like the new models have been a lot more helpful for that, because like the heads are always a separate piece, and these arms are easily interchangeable and stuff
They
like that.
come with different guns. I mean, so
Yeah,
like
guns.
Cassian's got 3 different gun options. You get that little popper gun that he shot Krennic with at the very end of the movie.
Yep.
And you've got the gun that he used, the one that he kept changing stuff out on. You've got its pistol mode. You've got its sniper mode. So you can change it out to that. Same with Iden. Iden's got 2 different guns. You can give her, or 3 different guns actually. You can give her that E11. You can give her a repeater. You can give her a sniper rifle, and you can change that out. And I believe when you talk about your kit bashing, that you're going to talk about magnets. So I'm going to leave that to you.
Well, I'm going to leave magnets for another day.
Very cool.
What I mean,
fine.
so like in your context, because I do a lot of magnet work, and I think that'd be great for the next
it's
the next
really
hobby
nice.
episode we have.
Great job. Yeah.
It'll be the next hobby episode we have, more than likely. But the arms and stuff. So let's say you want to give Cassian that sniper, and then you're done. Like that's it. Now you have bits left over. What are you going to do with that? Save those, because you could use those arms on another figure. At some point, you might have like a Han or some other model that they kind of fit on, and you can make your own custom dude like that. And it's a really fun, cool feeling to do. And it's scary when you're like first attempting it. I can tell you that I've always had the fear of, God, I'm going to cut up these $35 models and I'm just going to eviscerate them. And is the final result going to come out as good as I hope? And that fear is very real, but every single time you just have to let that fear go through your system, and then you just got to do it. Because if you're confident that you think it's going to look really awesome and that you really want to do it, the number one recommendation I give people when they're doing conversions, kit bashing, painting, hobbying of any kind is don't let that awesome idea stay in your head. Go do it. If you have a cool idea, do it. So I've seen a lot of stuff in the community done with Legion, with kit bashing. If I had to, I've thought of a couple of them. There was a few months ago, there was a guy. Now I'm trying to think of his name. I don't want to mess it up. It was Jace Ryan had a sniper that he made a clone sniper. So he took the Rebel, the Mon-Cal sniper model, and he cut off the head, and he added the clone, like a clone's head, and then he added some clone armor bits on his back, and it was really detailed and really well done, and it looked awesome. And so like you could use that for a rogue, like either a clone sniper or like a rebel sniper who's just like an old clone trooper, because he looks like he's kind of old in the picture. And then like a couple days ago, there was like, you could also do goofy stuff. Like I love seeing that stuff. That's the kind of kit bashing I live for. There was a couple days ago, a day or two ago, Rob Comer, I think this is how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
He had he took, at least I'm pretty sure this is what he did. He took the head and the weapon from the Marvel Crisis Protocol Thanos and replaced the Stormtrooper's helmet and the Stormtrooper's weapon with Thanos' head and Thanos' weapon, and then painted him up like that on a dewback.
No, they're silly, but it's cool. It's
I don't
very
know,
cool.
I don't know if you saw it, Bob, but it looked so good.
It did.
I love kit bashing like that. That is so awesome, and I love seeing stuff like that on the table. And and then like the most famous example I could think of was the was Darren Cox's 40K Legion series. You probably saw them. Those are so awesome. Like he has the Space Marine models, or like the Primaris, or like whatever models he wants to pick, and then he puts like Boba's head or Vader's head or Krennic's head on them, and he's done so much with all the different Empire stuff. Like that's an army I would love to see in person. Those are awesome conversions, or kit bashes rather, and I would love to see more. I'd love to see more kit bashing in the community. So I've done a lot myself. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think one of my favorite one was, I don't even know who did it, so sorry. Shout out to you, whoever did this one was the Obi-Wan Kenobi, that they took the head and the lightsaber arm and cut the lightsaber hand off and stuck it on a Boba Fett model.
Oh, yeah.
Painted it red, so it looked like the episode where he went and saved Satine. He went down into things, and he was dressed like one of the red ones, the red Mandalorians. And he went down and he saved her, only to have her get, whatever happened to her. Because I'm not going to spoil that for you people who haven't got to see it. But it's just
Also,
a
shame
beautiful
on you for
piece.
not watching Clone Wars.
Yeah, shame on you. I ought to spoil it for you. But
Anyway,
it's
go
a beautiful, beautiful mod because you can transform it, and it looks like he's jumping up, and he's got his lightsaber, and it's basically the Boba Fett model.
Yeah.
But you basically put a blank hand on it. You take Obi's other hand that's doing the two-finger Sorisu. You put the saber in the other one, cut the gun off, and you paint him with red armor, and it looks absolutely awesome.
It looks really good. Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
love seeing conversions and kit bashes like that.
I
So
ended up
I've done a handful in Legion. I think my first one that I ever did was I took Stormtroopers and I cut their helmets off and I replaced them with, my local game store used to have bins and bins of leftover 40K sprues that nobody wanted or that people weren't using, and I think they either sold them back to the store or they just collected them or something. But they used to have like bins of 40K bits that you could just buy for like dimes and pennies, pretty much. You could buy, so I bought like 8 heads or seven heads, I guess, for these Stormtroopers that were just all like human heads or heads that I thought looked like they could be painted human. I think some of them are Eldar. I don't know 40K super well, so I'm not positive on that. But I gathered up human heads and stuck them on the Stormtroopers, so now they look like Stormtroopers with no helmets on. And the cool thing with that is you could either use them as Stormtroopers without helmets on, or I like to pretend also they could also be rebels that were in Stormtrooper armor disguises, because they always take their helmets off at some point, so you know where the heroes are. So
exactly.
sometimes if I have like a deep striking unit or a infiltrating unit, or no, rapid reinforcements, that's what I was thinking of. I like to imagine that they're the Stormtroopers rushing in from the side, like, aha, we were actually rebels the whole time, and then that's how they sneak in.
It's another point. You can find those heads on Shapeways. A lot of the dealers out there will print.
Yeah, and that's
just
something you
heads.
can do as well, is Shapeways and different stuff, and they always sell heads and stuff that are really cool.
A buddy of mine, he does the same thing. Jeff does that a lot with his. So you might get a trooper that you're used to seeing, a human head on, and then it's got a Twi'lek head, or maybe a yak face.
I've seen it on
head.
the Rebels a lot.
Yeah, a lot. They do it with Rebels because they're easy, because everybody knows.
Lots of aliens and stuff.
Well, the Imperials hate the aliens, so they join the Rebel forces and get out there and kick some butt.
So another one I did briefly was the Downed ATST. I had some leftover Stormtrooper arms from some project that either me or my roommate did, and I went through and I opened the hatch on the top, and I opened it just wide enough to fit 2 little Stormtrooper arms to look like there's a trooper inside lifting the hatch and climbing out. And like I said, I'm gonna post pictures of all these converter kit bashes that I've done. I could get the permission for everybody else to post them, but you can also just Google the names I gave you on the page and you'll find them real quick. The most ambitious, I wouldn't say the most ambitious, but one of the most ambitious kit bashes I've done was actually for ya boy Rex and a Phase 1 Clone Trooper squad I had. So I, believe it or not, and Bob will be upset by this, I have 2 painted Rexes. Neither of them are Rex. So I don't actually have Rex. I have 2 painted Rexes that are not Rex.
I'm going to be very quiet right now, so go ahead.
You're going to mute your mic and scream.
Yes, I am.
I have one that my roommate painted for me that was his custom character from a Clone Wars campaign, from an RPG that I ran. He had a custom commander that he painted up for me as a gift. And then I have another one that's painted up as Captain Fordo from Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars series that was on Cartoon Network years and years ago, which was really awesome.
Love that one. That one was totally cool.
Mm-hmm. I always wanted to have Fordo because I loved it. Unlike Bob over here needing his super realistic military dark colors, I love the bright colors, and I love the how it looks, kind of like you said you don't like it, like a parade. I love the bright colors, like marching in, like everyone look at us, but I think that's just who I am. You look at the way I dress. The Fordo is like really bright red, and I wanted to do, so this is where the kit bash part comes in. I wanted to take him from the standing on the ground. I wanted to have one of them one of his legs doing a leg up, like he's like the George Washington crossing the Delaware kind of pose, and I wanted him to be standing on a little mound of droid heads. So yes, I had to go out and buy a box of B1s specifically just for the purpose of using their body parts as bits for some of my clones, but I put together, I think, 4 or 5 heads, and I made a little mound for Fordo to stand on. But the way I had to get his leg, so this is a really cool conversion, and I recommend this if anyone wants to try this, to check it out and try it. Take your crouched model of the Phase 1 clones and any other clone like Rex or something. You want to give somebody a leg up, do this. The crouched model has his left leg is at such an angle that it looks like it could be the leg up on another model. So, and then you can take, and then that guy doesn't have to be an amputee. You can take Rex's leg, the straight leg, and put it on the crouching dude and make a running guy. So now that squad doesn't have any crouching dudes. Now it has like 2 dudes that are running. And I have pictures to prove that it works just fine. You have to do a little bit of green stuff, but if you cut them at the right places, it can really look like it was meant to be. So check those pictures out. They'll be on the Facebook page, and I'll write that these are for Dice Time kit bashes, so you'll have a visual representation when you're listening to this.
I like to call that leg up thing the Captain Morgan, because if you ever seen a
commercial, or the
Captain Morgan,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's totally a Captain Morgan. My Fordo, I took him, and the Rex guns are DC-17s, and I'm just, it's got to be right or I don't do it. I actually cut the hands off of one of the specialists.
You're just gonna pass at me like that. I said, you're just going to pass at me like that because I didn't do mine.
I'm not going to pass at you. Yours is absolutely awesome and beautiful. Mine's more realistic to the cartoon, so there you go.
All right.
And it's darker red, so there you go. But yeah, I took mine and I replaced one of the guns with the I forget, it's the folded up DC-19, the short one. I think it's an A. It's what all the clones are carrying if they don't have the big DC-15 rifles. And I replaced one of the guns with that. I used the binoculars hand off of one of the Special Forces clone thingy things that they did there with the specialists. And then I found some connectors at work that looked almost like the box holsters that they have on each side of their legs there. Yep. And I cut up, if the specialist clones come with an extra, I think it was a specialist, it was either a specialist or the Phase 2s came with an extra DC-15 that was meant to be hung. Oh, it was the Phase 2s, because you put it on the backpack because he wasn't carrying it, the Morgar guys. I cut that in half and put one half on top of the box and one on the other, so it looks like it's in a holster on his hip. So it's got the 2 the DC-15s to wear on his belt and stuff. Just because when you watch it, he's carrying 2 of those. A lot of the clones, the Phase 2 clones, weren't out when a lot of people kit bashed Fordo. So totally acceptable, totally cool looking. Ben's, yours looks really awesome. But yeah, no, it's back to you. I just had to jump in there. You were talking about Fordo. I wanted to throw mine in there also.
Okay. Which is, yeah, I love the look of yours as well. It looks really slick, and big props to all the people that went the extra mile to do the guns and everything on that. I was fine with mine.
Yours looks great. It's just you didn't have the tools to put the big guns on it at the time you made yours, and I wouldn't go back.
I could have had them 3D printed, or I could have done something. I was fine with the way that the guns looked. It didn't have to be completely accurate for me for that one.
Yeah, I'm inaccurate. It's got to be accurate, and I ain't doing it.
All right, fine. Well, I did another unit that's a lot more accurate, and it was even more ambitious for me. So how about that? We'll talk about them.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. We have a certain squad that I'm sure none of you have heard of, but big props to you if you have, that were from an old comic that is no longer canon, sadly, but was a Star Wars comic that took place in the Clone Wars called Defenders of the Lost Temple. And that was one of my favorite group of clones. There was just a group of 4 clones that were some of my favorites, and I knew the first box of Phase 2s that I got, I was going to make them. So what I did with them was they have purple markings, so we never figured out what group they were part of. They weren't part of the 187th, which is Mace's clone, so I'm just accepting them into mine. And since they're not canon anymore, there's nothing that anybody can say otherwise. So what I did with them was they all have backpacks. So those backpacks that come with 2 of the specialists, They all four have those backpacks. So I had a problem because I had 4 clones that needed that backpack, yet the only one that had the backpack in the phase 2s is the Z6 guy. And I was like, well, this is a problem because I don't want to use the Z6 guy, but I want to use the backpacks. So what I ended up doing is I had 2 boxes of specialists, and I just stole all 4 of their backpacks and put them on these phase 2s. I had to cut down their back or trim down their back and then glue the backpack on there. And then I took green stuff and I made straps for the backpacks. They don't look masterwork. I'm not a master with green stuff, but they looked good enough for me, and I figured they would be fine. And I cut little lines in them because I think they're like striped on the way down. So I did those and painted up three of the guys to look normal. But I did my most ambitious project was my favorite trooper who I was going to get right no matter what, which was Glitch. Glitch is maybe my favorite clone trooper. It's debatable, but he might be my favorite clone trooper. And I'm not going to spoil why, but he's going to go read the comic. It's a 5-minute read. You can get the whole thing done real quick. If you love Star Wars comics, go check it out. It was great. Glitch was my favorite clone trooper from that whole thing, and I wanted to do him right. So how do you do Glitch right? Well, one thing I knew I was going to give him was a lightsaber. So I took the clone, and I took one of these clones that was like taking a step forward, and he has his right arm goes down to almost his elbow. And what I did with that is I had a spare Obi-Wan, and I took Obi-Wan's lightsaber arm and just glued it to that. So he looks like it's going down to his elbow, and then he bends, he's holding it out. He's holding out a lightsaber. And so that was one arm. The other arm, what I did was I gave the mortar trooper in this squad the regular rifle. So his mortar's on his back. And what that gives me is an extra bit, which is the left arm of the mortar guy who'd normally be holding the mortar. So now there's just this arm that isn't holding anything. And so I took that along with the rifle that would go on his back if I used the mortar. And I put that in his hand. Like I said, if you can't visualize this, there will be pictures on Facebook. Just search Dice Time Episode 3 Kit Bash, and hopefully it'll come up. It should. So this model is from 3 different units and 4 different models. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different models there. Obi-Wan, Phase 1 or Phase 2, a second Phase 2, a part of the same squad, and the clone specialist. So 4 different models, 3 different expansion units. It's my most ambitious project, but it turned out great. I am super proud of how that one turned out. And I have to do other kit bashing to replace the backpacks of the specialists that I stole the backpacks from. So what I actually did with my first squad was I took leftover Skitarii backpacks that I had from 40K and gave them to them, and they look pretty good. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that again with the other squad. I like it, but I don't know if I have any leftover backpacks now, but I'll see what I can do. That's something I forgot to mention in kit bashing is all the Cad Banes I got planned.
You got about 85 of them things. I thought Slade was going to have a heart attack if he'd have seen you.
All right, listen. For all you who saw the photo, I only bought 2.
I took that photo, and he was going up there, and he's like, his credit card was going to be on fire.
No. I only bought 2 that day. I'm probably going to buy more, but I'm waiting until I have 3 Cad Banes planned with those 2 boxes I bought. So
it's a beautiful model. It's got a lot of bits. You can do all kinds of stuff. I saw your one. That's awesome. You have to mention what you're doing.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about that real quick. Cad Bane has so many awesome options, and I saw somebody did this, and I'm going to kick myself so hard in the butt later for not getting this guy's name, but it was a guy who recommended, and he was doing it, and I shamelessly stole the idea. The Tesseract from the Marvel Crisis Core. Say what?
I said you're a thief.
Yeah, I'm a thief. So is Cad Bane.
Yeah, he is. So you match. You're good. Go ahead.
Quite literally stole what I'm about to describe.
I know, it's awesome.
He said he said take the Tesseract. You get an extra Tesseract from the box.
The Red Skull. The
Red Skull from Marvel Crisis Protocol. And he said, I'm just going to shave the hand off that and give that to Cad as a holocron. And I went, Oh my god, that's
Genius.
genius. Yeah, that's insanely genius. I'm actually like while I'm talking about it, I'm gonna see if maybe I can find that post because I feel really bad if I don't name that dude. So we went through and I took the arms and I cut them around. So that's technically a kit bash because I stole a bit from Red Skull there, but I am doing conversion as well because I had to. What I decided to do was he's going to be holding it he's kind of like footballing it. So I took the arm that's normally like pushing a button on the other one's wrist, and I cut the hand off and I turned it so so it looks like it's up, and then I angled it down, the arm down, so he's like kind of tucking it, and then I shaved off the hand and I put the Tesseract into his hand, and it's going to be a Jedi Holocron. I think I found the dude. Yeah, his name's Daniel Barker, and he posted this in May. And he said, Red Skull has 2 cubes on his sprue. That's my donor sorted for Cad Bane's holocron conversion then. And I was like, you are a genius. So
Yeah.
thanks, Daniel, for giving me the smartest idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I even found, I wrote a comment on there. I just said, you're a genius, and I'm stealing it.
Exactly.
So not my original idea, his idea. But I also have another one planned that's going to be the Cad in the clone armor that he did when he was in clone disguise in Clone Wars for that episode. And so I plan on doing that. And then I also want to do, it's a really ambitious one I have planned, and I haven't totally planned it out yet, but I haven't seen anyone say it yet, so I'm saying it now. So this one I'm going to claim my idea for. I want to give him 2 pistols that he's shooting down, and I want him to be up. I want to put him either on a flight stand or something, but I want to have like smoke and fire coming out of his jet boots, and I want to have him flying away. Because like one of my favorite things of the Cad Bane is like he goes in, he does his job, maybe he doesn't always do it right, because like maybe he's there to kill Ahsoka or Obi-Wan or something. It's like he's not going to be able to do that. They got plot armor. But he'll fly away, and his job is done. He's just so long, Jedi, and he's got this cackle as he's like flying off. And I'm like, man, I really want to recreate that feel in in my model there. So I might.
What you could use?
Mandalorian, Clan Ren,
Clan Ren's freaking
or ARC
flight
troopers,
stands, or ARCs.
Yeah, no, I might just end up buying a bunch of those boxes just because I want more flight stands. Like I kind of want to give one to Rex when I put that jetpack on him. So I want to put a jetpack on my actual Rex model and have him flying because that like we said before, you staple that jetpack card to Rex. All right, Bob. Anything else on kit bashing before we move on?
I think you covered it. You're more the kit basher of the group. I just kind of glue them together the way they come and go from there.
All right, Bob. Well, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about the art of Legion.
War? Yeah.
Well, yes, the art of war, but specifically the card art of war.
Alrighty. I've got a bunch of cards laid out in front of me. These are the ones I picked. I'm just going to go through a few of them because I don't want to get monotonous on it. What I like to do is I like to look at it. How real world are they painted? Do they look real? And then I also like to look and see, does that pose or that picture of them capture that moment in time that the card represents?
So you're going through like your top 5 here, or like
we'll do top 5, maybe a couple.
Your favorite card art.
Yeah, my bottom 3 are all of one set, so we'll do that at the end there. But to start, I'm just going to pull out the Scout Trooper. Now, most of these are the full art cards. Got a whole bunch of collection of those, but if you don't have the full art cards, you can look at the little up in the corner of each of the regular cards. They're there, but it's not a very good representation. I'm going to start with Scout Troopers. I'm a clone player, but this is a really cool card. On the full art card, it basically has 2 Scout Troopers sitting on top of, it's got to be Tatooine. And they are, one of them's got the gun out, he's looking through the scope, and his spotter's standing behind him. You've seen pictures of snipers in the real world. They always have some guy standing behind him spotting for him while they're looking through the scopes, getting the windage. In the Star Wars world, the pose is spot on. The spotter is calling out the wind and the range, and you can see the shooter's face underneath the mask. You can just see him with both eyes open, and he's zooming in on the rebel or whoever the heck he's getting ready to shoot. And I think that card matches those characters. The miniatures, there's both of the pieces on the cards. There's miniatures for, and it's just, to me, it's a really nicely done, beautiful painting card. If they sold it, I'd probably buy a copy of it and put it up on the wall because it's really, really cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go to one of Ben's favorites now.
Oh boy.
Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
One of the best cards that they've done. The stance, she's got both weapons out. She's got that tonfa and her gun out. The look on her face. She knows in the picture it's over, but she's very, very confident and very proud. It fits in with the stats of the card because she's going to die. She knows she's going to die, but she's still, I'm on this mission, and like the card says, I'm going to complete it. I just think it's a really good looking card. It's got her gun, her add-on gun, because of course she didn't have it when she started, but she did have her tonfas there. And just with a quick thinking, and you can see in the eyes of the painting, they actually captured, you could tell that she's thinking about what she's going to do, who she's going to blast, who she's going to beat up with that tonfa.
Yeah, she looks
that's
ready.
Probably one of my, she's not pretty. She's a warrior. But
no,
yeah.
I said she looks ready.
Oh, I thought you said she looked pretty. I'm like,
I mean,
guess,
she looks pretty.
Yeah, she looks pretty
lie,
too. There you go.
She looks pretty.
That's one of my.
And I love I love it on the I want to see more of the limited edition, the 2019 card they made for her that I think they gave them out of Gen Con.
They did.
Where it's like got the red lines and everything
It's got
behind
the
them. That's the one I use. I love that one. That looks
The
so
Sabine card's the same way. They did that kind of Japanese anime art in the back of it to give it that kind of flash.
Those look so good. I want to see more of
that
those.
way too. Those are really cool. And then, like I said, we'll go to a different one here. For little cards for equipment and stuff, I like the DLT-19. It's a nice painting. It's kind of a flat-nosed stormtrooper. He's up on a ridge with a DLT-19, up and it kind of looks like on a ridge of a mountain. I don't know why they would do that, but just the art, and to go on a small card, you have to really be detailed, and this has a lot of detail. Good color, good layout. He's ready to go, and he's going to pop somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of my favorite cards is Hello There. It's an Obi-Wan Kenobi 1-pip. The stance, the Sorasu fingers, the droid's in the background. He's just cool. He's just saying like, all right, yeah, come on. Because Grievous is standing in front of him. Yep. And it was taken right out of the movie. And the card is really cool because he gains nimble. He was definitely nimble in that time in the movie. And he gets an aim, a dodge, or a standby, and one surge for each enemy at 1 to 2. So he's ready. He's ready to go to town. And in the movie, he proves it by stopping Grievous with all those lightsabers coming at him with one, which I thought was kind of a neat layout.
Yeah, and I love all of Obi-Wan's cards, man. They all look really beautiful. Like his 2-pip, the Knowledge and Defense looks so good in the rain. And it's got the rain, it's got the lighting, and everything just looks beautiful in those. It's
very cool. Now I'm going to go back to a really old card. I got 3 old cards. I think we'll probably just do one of them, but 2 of them. Maximum Firepower, which is Veers' card. Mm-hmm. I love this card because the look on his face. It's just got that smug. Yeah, I just blew up your power source. What are you going to do now? Look, to it, and it's a great scene straight from the movie. It's got that look of we found you, we're taking you down. There's nothing you can do about it. We have the brute force. You have little air cars that aren't going to do anything to us.
Yeah, it captures the doing his duty as an Imperial general.
Yeah, he does it. Yep, and he's like the only one out of that whole group that didn't mess up to begin with, or somewhere during that fray. He was the only one. He went down there. He did what he was supposed to do. He wasn't Ozzel getting fried or anybody else getting force choked. So that's the reason I like that art card. I'm going to do one more of these here. Annihilation Looms. When they posted this on FFG, everybody was looking and going, "Oh, squat," because what's going to happen, and it is Annihilation Looms, and each trooper gains 1 suppression unit or 1 suppression token. If it's round 5 or 6, each trooper gains an additional. So at the end of it, what's coming. So you're even more suppressed. And even Krennic gets it. Even though it's his card, he lays it down. He's laying there dying after Cassian shoots him. He still looks and he sees that Death Star, and he knows what that thing's capable of because he just blasted Jedha. And he knows what they're going to do. And it's just that look. And the whole card just says that. It's got the troopers looking at the stormtroopers are looking at the Death Star coming over the horizon. And it's just a really cool card that fits what it actually does.
So that's one that I would... You were talking about buying a painting earlier. That's probably one that I would buy as a painting. That one looks amazing. It's got the whole Scarif scene. It's got the deep sea and the beach, and everything just looks so real. The trees and everything just they look like it's almost a photograph.
It is.
Speaking of, I really want to point out, and people were talking about this when he came out, Cassian's 2-pip Last Stand. That Bob, I don't, that one looks like just a photograph out of the movie.
They've
That one's-
stepped up the art. They've totally
They
stepped
did.
up the art.
That one is by far one of the most beautiful card arts I've seen, with how detailed and how realistic it looks. It's just
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah,
And then, you know, I'm a sucker for like Sabine's cards, obviously.
Of course.
but
Sabine, she's got beautiful cards.
they're all
Just
colorful.
a couple more here, and then we'll be done with this.
Okay.
The ambush card from the clone set. They're up on a ridge. They got the rotary cannon. They have a rocket launcher. This is from the very first Clone Wars cartoon, not the one they showed on Cartoon Network. What was the guy's name that did it?
Tartakovsky, which that was on Cartoon Network as well.
Yeah, that was on Cartoon Network, but this was the one where they actually, right after they put the movie in the theater and they come out with the first episode, it's the one where Yoda goes to a planet. I think it's Felucia, and they're running around, and it's him and 3 other clones, and they're like, we're not worthy, we're just clones. And he's like, no, everybody's special, everybody has their own things.
Yep.
This is good. Asajj Ventress is chasing him around with a bunch of droids. It's these guys sitting on top of this ridge, and there was an ambush scene where Yoda was down with a bunch of droids, and these guys just started shooting from the top, and they took him out. Beautiful art, very meaningful because of it being in the first episode there. I don't know whether to lead. Do you want me to do a Vader card or the Luke card that I'm going to talk about?
Just squeeze them both in as fast as you can.
Well, I'm going to as fast as I can.
wanna hear 'em
Fear and
both.
Dead. We'll just go Fear and Deadman.
Oh, Fear and Deadman, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful card. DePinto got it right during Friday Night Fights last time. Not last one, but the one before that. Somebody played that card, and he went on about the card art. I have one of the full art cards from the last Prime. Beautiful card, absolutely
Yes.
beautiful. And if you haven't seen the comic book with Vader, get it. The scene
Yeah.
that this is taken from is absolutely horrifying. It'll make you cringe. It'll make you feel
In a
really
good
bad
way.
for the rebels.
Cringe
I'm
in a
not-
good way. Good cringe.
Yeah, it's heinous. I akin it to that scene in Rogue One where he's coming down the hallway and he's just plastering people on the
Yeah,
wall.
that's another.
Yeah.
That's a perfect
Yeah.
parallel there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and it matches this card. When Vader uses deflect, the attackers suffer wounds from each surge instead of the blanks. So
What Luke
Excellent.
card are we looking at?
the Luke card is the original Luke card, and I love this card so much because when you open the rule book, it's the first big picture of Luke that you see.
Oh, the unit card photo. Like
Yeah.
the photo that they. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's in his Bespin gear. This card captures a time in the movie perfectly. The gun and the lightsaber's out, so he's not sure which he's going to use, but he's there. He's ready to go. He's gonna smack something. He's not ready to be a Jedi yet because he's got that gun out and he's got it pointed, instead of the lightsaber. He's not okay with his abilities yet to where he could put the gun down and just go with the lightsaber. But he's got that cocky, not confident look, and in him too, where, yeah, I'm going to go kick somebody's butt. I know I've got this. I told Yoda I can do it. I'm going to go do it. And then, of course, he ends up losing the hand over it because he wasn't. But he did get a shot in on Vader, which should add to his abilities. The card stats are spot on. The saber's good, but not Vader. He's got charge because he did charge into that fight. The jump, he used that in the movie where he jumped out of the pit where they were going to carbon freeze him. Just an all-around really cool card. He's still got his blaster. He still can do some shooting. And it's a good blast. It's a DL-44 like Han, so it's got Pierce too. The deflect. So he can knock back the shots, which is really good too. But this picture to me just says I'm overconfident and I'm still learning, but eventually I'm going to get there. And when I do, you're going to be in trouble. And
And when I do, I'm going to become operative Luke.
yeah,
and
I'm
you're
going
really in trouble.
I'm going to step away from the rebellion and let the people who know how to do that stuff, to do it. And I'm just going to be as much help as I can. So that's kind of my take on some of the art cards. Like I like it because FFG does a great job of generally, not always, but most of the time, getting the card to me the way it should be. Because if you look at the cards, they generally match a point in time with, that Luke card. That was Luke at Bespin, so Empire. So if you look at the Luke operative, that's Luke in Jedi and beyond because he's grown smarter. He's thrown
Yep.
away the gun. He doesn't need it. He's gotten more powerful. He's more of a master now. He's focused. He knows what needs to be done, and he's out there to do it. He's not showing off. And I think that they do that with all the cards. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with some of the other card art that they come out with. If you noticed, and if you know me, I'm a Rex fanatic, and I have no Rex art in
No.
this segment. because I really just don't like the artwork. It looks cheesy. It doesn't look well done to me. I don't like it. The 3-pip card where he gets 4 units to me looks bad. He's got his helmet off, but it's blurry. I don't like it. So that's the reason there's no Rex cards in the set of. These are the cards I like.
Well, Bob, maybe you should custom paint up some alt art cards for Rex there with your own stuff.
I plan on doing some art cards for Rex. I've got a Shore Trooper one that I've done. You might see that out on the Legion Academy website. I don't know if that one's out there, but some of my art's out there.
Yeah, I would love to see some Bob Swaim alt art cards, man. I think that'd be awesome. I'd use the crap out of those.
Yeah, we might do some of those up. I'm going to talk to Sean and Joe and see what they would like to see, because they had mentioned doing some art for them. I think I'm going to start on a Cad Bane, to tell you the truth, even though I don't play separate. But
that's my favorite. Bob, do you have anything left for us here? I think we should start wrapping up. Do you have any?
I got a couple of really super quickies here. If you've never played a 1,600 point game, do it. It's a lot of fun. We played it out in an undisclosed location in a barn game room in Anderson, and it was a blast.
Tell me about that. Talk about that, man. It was,
we were playing
from what I was told, it was an amazing game.
We played it on a 6x4, which was a lot of fun. A lot of stuff. The other guys were playing Imperials. They had 17 acts. We had 15. We were playing clones. We ended up beating them on kills by 200 points. It took about 6 hours to play through, and it was totally amazing. Shout out to Sean and Tom and Mike, my buddies here. They played. We got it all together, and it didn't take as long as we thought to get through it. But great fun, good alternative game. Plus, you can play 2 people versus 2 people and get some more people in.
I haven't played a 1,600 yet, but it sounds like a lot of fun. And from what you told me, yeah, it's amazing. From what I've heard from other people though, you have to dedicate like the whole day to it or break it up somehow.
We ended up breaking it up over 2 nights, and we basically just left all our pieces on the table. Everybody was cool. They left them there. We had a monthly game at the store. At Atomic Games in Muncie, which is our home store. We had a game going there. Everybody decided, well, we'll pull our Imperial stuff or something else. Tom ended up playing his droids for the first time, and I played Imperial, and Mike played Imperial, and Shaughnessy didn't make it that time. But it was a lot of fun. It actually was cool to watch the different styles of teamwork. Me and Mike, we played forever since the game's been out, and we both were just like, yeah, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, move something. Here's a token. Go. And to watch Shaughnessy and Tom, who are pretty new at it, sit and talk and strategize, and no, we don't want to do that. No, we want to do this. No, we don't want to do that. And it was really neat to see the different styles. So it was kind of a learning experience. I'll probably throw some pictures up on the Facebook also.
Yeah, no, that's super cool.
Right. The last thing I've got, we're here in Indiana. We're in Anderson and Bloomington. I would like to give a shout out to Brendan Bourne up in Fort Wayne. Brendan comes down and plays over at Atomic. He's been coming down for a while. They are trying to start a community up there at a game store called Power 9. They have a Facebook page. If you're in the area or close or feel like driving one day, check out their Facebook page and help him build his community. I know we're going to go up there and play sometimes. And like I say, he comes down and plays at our store. But a big shout out to him. And it's hard work to get a community going, but I'm really happy that it's starting to grow again, because it kind of died out for a while. But now that the virus thing is slowing down a little bit, they're doing a little bit better. You will have to wear a mask at that store. A lot of fun. Good guy. Does beautiful paint. He is a painting demon. He is really, really good at all his stuff. Looks really pretty. Carries it around on a base. So there you go. Yeah,
his clones are beautiful as well. He was mentioning how he did his with airbrush. So I mean, if we do another art episode, I might ask and see if he wants to come on and talk about.
Yeah, we might get him on there. I plan on starting to get some interviews on here too. With just we're trying to.
We have them planned.
We're doing like lower level players.
They're planned, guys. They're planned.
We got it, but yeah, that's all I got for this episode. I think we've done pretty good.
Well, I think that means we're ready to wrap this one up, Bob. We're
ready to go. This undisclosed.
Went on for a while here, but went on for a little bit. But I think it was all. I like to pretend it's all good content.
Yeah, the location Matt's getting ran over with a bunch of rapid little Ewoks pounding on the door of the room that I'm in, so I've got to go out and put an end to that. So
right. Oh,
We appreciate your time tonight, people. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for the really good reviews. That really makes me feel good, because at the beginning, Ben wanted me to do this, and I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to, but this has just been a pure pleasure. It's been a joy to get on here and talk with you guys, and all the good jobs and accolades that we've got. Keep them coming. We're going to keep doing this forever, hopefully.
No, it's very
It's
humbling.
humbling.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's no, I'm very happy that everyone so far has been giving us positive feedback, because that makes me feel like we're actually contributing something. That's all I really wanted. As long as 2 people listen and they're happy, I'm happy with the thing. And so to have everyone coming together and being like, this was really good, and I really enjoyed listening to this. It was just like, that was very overwhelming for me.
It was cool, because I didn't know where we'd go or if anybody would listen to us.
I'm gonna trick Bob into doing more episodes if we can. Actually,
we're gonna do more.
They might upload either the same day as this one or the next one, but we actually wanted to sneak in an in-flight report episode, because I'm sure there's going to be a ton of announcements, and I really would love to talk about them. And Clan Ren dropped at the time of recording today, and we want to
the article
touch on them briefly. I'm sure everyone's already talked about it. They've been out for a week and a half. The article's been out for a week and a half after this, so I mean, everyone's already talked about them, but we're going to briefly touch on our thoughts, I'm sure.
Yep.
So if you want to check that out, and the in-flight report, I'm sure that's going to be a bonus episode sneaking in there, and then we'll go back to our schedule we've got.
Yep.
All right, Bob. I think we're good here, right? You're gonna go.
Yep.
You got to take care of the Ewoks that are banging.
I got an Ewok problem I've got to go deal with, and got to feed them some stormtroopers.
I gotta go see if Lord Vader has anything else for me today. Otherwise, I can take a break.
There we go.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody. I hope you had a dice time with us today, and be sure to check us out on Legion Academy's new website that might be up by the time of recording. Otherwise, it'll be up very soon. We're also gonna be up on other platforms very soon. I know
Podbean.
iTunes is gonna set us. iTunes will be there. Spotify requires that we have 5 episodes, so we need to speed that along, and then we'll be up by then. And so we're gonna be up on the other platforms. We might be up on some of them by the time this episode airs, now that I think about it.
That could be.
Anyway, yeah, wrapping up. Dice time. Hope you had a great time.
Have a good
dice
one.
Time. Hope you had a dice time.
Had a very dice time. Yes, great. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Go make today even better.